get the cheat code, I'm a beast. They should've never let me out of leash. Stop all the cap, I'm just tryna see. You really back what you talk on the beat. They put me in, I'ma walk on the beat. I eat my plate and it make me obese. I been pushing lyrics like a kingpin. And when the day we got them racing.
What's up, guys?
Yo. Hola.
Oh, just
Hola.
blessed as fuck.
As you guys can see, I've been to the Cheat Code podcast 2 weeks in a row, and I've got my merchandise in my coffee cup.
Yeah.
Had you guys done the same?
Yeah, definitely.
You do look sharp, by the way.
Every time I throw on the white, I feel godly, and that's why I love this all-white Cheat Code, super warm, super soft, very chic and stylish hoodie that is
Embroidered.
available for men and women and children of all ages. So, you know, every time I feel like I want to be, you know, godly, or I feel Christian-like, or heathenist, if you will. Either or. It's good, bad. I throw on the all white, and it just
I
makes
love
me
it.
feel
You know,
like
the
a boss.
all white reminds me of a ghost, and that's the first topic: Ghostwriters.
Ghostwriters.
Do they get the respect that they deserve? For example, Party, Bodak Yellow, Savage, Saha, Kanye,
So
Travis
the word
Scott.
ghostwriter is complaining about not getting credit? Motherfucker, I'll be a son of a bitch. You kidding me? Somebody that has the word ghost in front of their name is complaining about not getting credit? So you want the applause. The money isn't enough. The money is not enough. You want to go out there and you want people to scream your name because you in it for the women. That's what you want. Just say that.
They want to be.
You a clown. That's what you are as a buffoon. Listen, bro, you writing the hits. The plaque is on your wall too, bro. The check comes into you. You don't have to go do not one interview. You don't have to jump on a plane. You don't have to go do 2-3 shows a night. You don't got to go do none of that stuff. Your job is already done, and you still getting the money and the plaques. What more do you want?
Attention.
You want the women.
You want the attention.
You want the women, bro.
The fame.
They want the fame. I
You
think
want to get on Ellen and jump up on the
So
couch.
there's so many artists that are struggling, and then they call me and say, okay, I just want to be a ghostwriter. Like, I couldn't make it as an artist. I'm in my 40s. I want
exactly
to
what
be
I
a
was gonna say.
ghostwriter. But they don't know what that means. Like, they've heard that somewhere people write for artists, and I don't think they realize that
Their pen is wicked.
it's like you're using ghostwriting isn't just somebody that's never had a hit record and you look like you can write a song for me, please do. It doesn't work like that. Like, ghostwriters are professional writers that have relationships with the folks at the label that pick who's gonna write a song.
I guarantee you,
And
Sean
they've got a
Garrett has
track
never complained
record.
about getting credit for a record.
correct, but I think
Correct.
he likes
Correct.
writing. But what about, my question is, usually I've seen recently a lot of ghostwriters are, I hate to say the word failed, maybe an unsuccessful attempt at being artists, so then they fade to the back and give their songs to other people who
Where did
can
Ray
perform
Sherman
them
go after
better.
they wrote Beyonce a hit?
They blew up.
Where did they go after they wrote Beyonce a hit? They went into the studio to keep writing records.
Yeah.
We don't need to put them out no more. They own the music that they're writing. A lot of these guys don't understand. Some of your favorite writers have ghostwriters. Some of your favorite rappers and favorite musicians and artists and entertainers have
Correct.
ghostwriters.
All I'd even venture to say almost all.
All.
When you get to that top level, you've got to have writers because you just don't have the time.
Don't they have song camps?
Yes,
Yes.
they have.
Houses
They have.
full
They have
of
writing.
Yes.
They're called writers' camps.
Yes.
Well, we all know that,
Yes.
but they have
Producers
writers
camps as
producer
well.
camps. Yes.
Somebody analyzed all of the top 10 songs over the past 50 years, and the average of a top 10 hit is 8 writers.
Bodak Yellow was written
So-
by Party.
That means there's a lot of people in a room writing.
Can I tell you how heartbroken I was to find out the person who was writing some of Michael Jackson's records?
You were
Broke
heartbroken.
my heart.
Really?
Because I thought it was all Mike, baby. I thought Mike went in there and Joe Jackson whooped his ass into shape and got him together. And then to come to find out that it was somebody that if you looked him in a room, if you walked in a room and seen the person who wrote some of Michael Jackson's biggest records, you'd walk right by him and wouldn't even think twice to say, are you that guy?
That guy. I was sad when I found out a lot of the big records that came out weren't written by the people who performed them. Rappers, singers, whoever.
But why? They're still good records.
They're
What-
great records,
what
but
made you
I
sad?
just had a vision of when I see them performing them. I'm like, oh yeah, that was
It came
dope
out
that
of
they
their
did
head?
that. It came out of their
Got
head,
it.
and I didn't think that. Oh, okay, they had help, or
Right.
someone said,
Right.
here's a whole song. Here you go.
Right.
And when I realized that, I was like, oh, I understood everything.
Right.
That's what A&R departments were back in the days.
Yes.
A&R departments, when they
Yes.
signed an artist, they brought you in and they said, okay, we believe you have enough je ne sais quoi, is that the phrase? Enough, I don't know. And we're gonna throw a little razzle dazzle on you. So we want you to come in here
Salt Bay on
and
it.
we want you to work with the performance coach. And then we're gonna want you to sit over here. We want you to do media training. And then we're gonna have you go over here and we're gonna have you get with the stylist, and so you can learn etiquette. And then you're gonna go over here and you're gonna get with your vocalist. And then you're gonna go over here and you're gonna learn your dance routines and blah, 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 blah. And that was all of that. Well, in comes the independent label and says, hey man, I don't need y'all to do anything but just put it out. I'm gonna do it all myself. Oh, well shit, if you're bringing the A&R department with you, then okay, bro, cool. You put up all the effort and put everything else up. We'll put all the resources and the money of it together. We'll get to the bag.
That's why Wendy Doll won't blow, because Wendy Doll does everything wrong.
Wendy Dahl does everything wrong.
She needs songwriters.
Wendy Dahl has writers.
Oh,
Yeah,
Wendy
she
Doll has writers?
Yeah, because Wendy Dahl can't write a lick herself.
I love it.
But Wendy Dahl has 100,000 followers now.
Nice.
Yes.
Getting out of control.
Are
Hottest
those
thing in
are-
India.
On one post.
Are those organic followers?
No.
Hottest thing
No, I
in
thought
India.
Doll
she
does
has two
everything wrong.
posts. I was on the page a couple days ago.
There's two posts?
Wendy Dahl has
I'm
2
mistaken.
posts.
Okay.
So is Wendy Doll posting for herself, or is Wendy Doll has somebody posting for
Apparently
her?
there's somebody posting for Wendy Dahl.
And so then maybe, listen, we need to see if they should start posting in Indian.
How about that?
If that's where all
How
the
about
followers are, I
that?
think
That's
we
where all the
should.
followers.
Yeah, we just
Bangladeshi. I'll make
Run some ads. Make sure we
I
run
told
some
somebody
ads.
this the other day, as an independent artist, if you're insisting on doing the things, and we're in no way implying that anything that you do to test the success of it is wrong.
Right.
What we're suggesting is that you do a little bit more research and prepare yourself to reap the benefits if it's successful. What do I mean by that? I'm going to rewind to the beginning of my statement. If you're insisting on paying for playlist and it's getting you spots in Germany and in Portugal and all that stuff, then maybe you should invest in having that language, a version of your bio in that language.
And maybe you should go there because you want to be able to work your
Maybe you should reach
music
out to some of those people,
wherever your
I don't
fan
know
base
if
is.
an artist from Atlanta, Georgia, for
It
example,
wouldn't, if he paid for a playlist and he is getting all of his streams from Germany, it doesn't matter what he wants. The German people want his music. Why is he trying to put a street team together in Atlanta? He doesn't need, he needs to go to Buffalo. He needs to go to Phoenix. He needs to go to Los Angeles, and he needs to go to Austria. And in those orders.
in that order.
Whether he goes there physically or he goes there digitally, here's a great way to test it.
right?
If you have enough information where you can just, if you have one name and a Google search will take you down 1,000 different avenues. If you're willing to travel them to find what you want.
And I believe on Instagram now, when you go in your insights, it'll tell you where the bulk of your followers are from. It breaks down
Yes.
the age, and it
Yes.
breaks down the location of where they're at.
Yes.
So I'm assuming that if you purchase followers, it will say
It should.
It won't say that you purchased them, but it'll show where
No,
the
it'll show where
large.
it will
from,
say
like
it'll show you
Bangladesh
the bulk of
or-
where they're from, like
Yes.
Bangladesh or Austria. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
More power to you, man. Just make sure that you know that your what's the name of the Indian streaming platform? Oh my goodness. I forget it'll come to me in a second as we get on the call. But make sure that your content is submitted on there. If you're getting a lot of
Right.
Indian playlists and doing all of those stuff, and you're insisting
Go all
on
the
getting
way.
the YouTubes,
Yo.
go. No, I'm dead.
You're right.
dead for
No,
real, bro.
absolutely. Go all the way.
And make sure that those in case it's maybe I'm full of BS. Maybe it's 100% authentic. At which case, take my advice and say, hey, let's post some content relative to their
To their
culture,
culture.
in their
Exactly.
language at their times. Understand when they are awake,
Nah,
when
that-
they are
that's
asleep.
legit.
If you're gonna pay for that, if you're gonna invest in getting that type of attention, then at least
Go all the
follow
way.
through, go through
Go
with it,
all the
man.
way. Go balls to the wall.
Balls to the wall. Now I was talking to my
Geo Savan. That's the
Geo
name of the Indian platform.
what's it called?
Geo Savan. GIOSAAVN. And guess what?
Put it on the screen.
Guess
Gigi.
what?
Okay, thank you.
They have an artist dashboard. That means you can update your picture.
But you need to be able to
you can
read the
update your-
language. I'm assuming, right?
Kingpin does it, bro. Because I want to make sure that every time one of our clients drops a record, it's available in the Old Testament if they want it. I'm going to put it on every platform in the globe.
I got you.
And I want to make sure that it's monetized when it's there so that if they decide that they want to get their business right, then all of those pennies. Let me explain something to you. Global collections is a very different story than just the shit you
Yeah,
get from
that's
iTunes,
true.
bro.
That's true. That's true.
So get your
That's
business
true.
right, man. Understand these platforms and what they do for you. Geo Savan, there I think are 8 times the amount of people in India that there are in America. So just by that number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, there'd be 56 people in this room.
Oh, okay.
Just
Okay.
a statistical number, something to think about. So
Okay.
I love it.
a lot more people there. So if you want your
And there's
content,
many different languages. It's not like there's one
many
language.
different dialects. So make sure that as an artist, every artist that's listening to this right now, as soon as this episode is over, I want you to get your bio, and I want you to go to Google Translate, and I want you to translate your bio into the 6 most common languages in the world. If you don't know what those comments are, drop a question in the comments, and we'll answer it for you.
Yeah, because we
But
in the comments
every
too.
artist needs to go and they need to get their bio, long version or short version, translated into the 6 most common languages in the world, especially if you're insisting on paying for attention from people in other countries. Make sure that you're equipped with the stuff that maybe, just maybe, if one of them is listening, they'll buy a shirt.
All right, I was talking to my boss at the radio station, Solo. He said he loves the show, by the way, guys.
Oh, good. Shout
Hey,
out.
Appreciate you, boss.
He actually helped me out with a question because he wanted us to talk about this. He wanted to talk about streams versus radio play. Is there a difference? Streams versus radio play. Is it a versus? Do they play hand in hand? What do you guys think about streams, like a artist's streams, period, versus radio play nationwide? Do they coincide? What means more?
Streams, having an obscene amount of streams won't get your song on the radio.
But having an obscene amount of radio play will get you streams.
Will get your streams through the roof.
I think it also depends on the artist. I don't know that the type of music. I don't know that I would take an 18-year-old rapper to radio. I think the fan base is streaming. It's digital. But I would take a 25-year-old pop artist to radio because I'm reaching people that are, from 19 to 45.
Radio is still going to be one of the most, until they knock down every radio antenna in the world, radio will remain a powerhouse.
Yes,
for
because it
reaching the people.
reaches millions of people so easily.
Easily.
And the point of radio is not to break records, it's to sell records.
Correct.
Everybody listens
Right.
to the radio, and in order for them to be able to pump that signal, they have to sell advertisements. And advertisers only want to come to stations where there is a large amount of people.
Right.
If there is a large amount of people, then that means unanimously they have to provide, or in this case, program content
Correct.
for those people.
Correct.
So if the easy listeners, they have an easy listening station. The
Correct.
jazz listeners have a jazz station. It's just in the urban community, there's 4 or 5 of those stations in some of these bigger markets.
Correct.
Not to mention the AMs and then the streamings and all the other ones. For an independent artist, here's the beauty of it. If your song isn't registered for SoundScan and MediaBase and the rest of them, it wouldn't matter if you had 100 billion streams online and you had constant rotation every day, super max rotation. It wouldn't matter to anybody but the people that are going to exploit that to get people to go, oh, we're going to have the new artist come down and the brand new record, the top 10 of 10. He's performing at Summer Bash this weekend, and they're going to play that record
Well, you sounded good. You
75
sounded
times
good,
into the
Kingpin.
ground because
Summer
they
Bash.
understand that's how they can get people to come buy tickets because their new favorite artist is on there. They're not going to pay you to come to that city. When you go to New York to do Summer Jam, Hot 97 isn't, unless you're an established artist and being booked. But if you're one of these guys that had that hot song on the radio that year and you did your radio campaign and you cracked it in the top 20, you are going to have to pay your own money for your label, your staff, your cameraman, your road manager to get to New York City. And while you're there, you're going to want to stay there for a day or two so that you can go see Sirius and all these other guys. You're going to have to pay for the black car and security and all that other stuff comes out of your pocket. Then you get to go on stage and perform the one song that everybody knows for 3 minutes, and then you walk off stage and you have to mimic that success in order to get invited back to that stage next year. Hopefully, it'll be with the payment attached to it. 9 times out of 10, none of these artists are getting paid for performing at these big concerts.
Oh, of course
They're
not.
coming in because getting played on the radio is the payment.
It's the value.
It's the value.
it's the value.
Streams versus radio airplay. Do they all work hand in hand? One can
Yes.
coexist without the other one, and that's radio because it was here before streaming. So if it was here before streaming, that means once streaming is transferred into anything else, it'll be here after because it's the foundation for which streaming is built on. That's why now platforms like Amazon AMP are giving people radio stations. Playlists are nothing more than a way for you to personalize your own listening experience. That's what a radio station is. Back in the days when somebody made a mixtape, they bought the cassette, they put the little paper, in the top part, and they
And
recorded
recorded
their
over
favorite
it.
songs
Over it.
off the radio, and then they
Right.
listened to their favorite songs. That's what a mixtape was.
Correct.
Hip
It's
hop
like your
culture
own
came
radio
and flipped it
station.
and said, you know what? We're going to take all the hot songs and make them our own.
Right.
Thank you, 50 Cent and G Unit Radio.
Yeah.
And then it's evolved into everything else to where these guys are, well, Lil Wayne. Hey, Lil Wayne, DJ Drama, you guys
DJ
are
Drama.
selling albums that are competing with albums. Now
Right.
it's against the law. So
Right.
if you really look at the timeline of music, the one common thing that has always been there, DJ Drama, why is he so successful? Because of radio. DJ Khaled, why is he so successful? Because of radio.
Radio.
Greg Street, why is he so successful? Because of radio.
Radio.
Ebro, why does his voice matter? Because of radio in New York City. These are all people that all share one common goal or one common thread, radio.
You know, when I go for radio with my clients, the stations look at the streaming, so it really does all work hand in hand. It gives the program director ammunition to either put the song in rotation or keep it in rotation.
And I think that's where a lot of people get it confused, is because once a person figures that out, they know that 7 out of 10 program directors, and I'm going to say this, and all of them could DM me and we'll debate about it. 7 out of 10 program directors are completely disconnected from the culture. They don't understand how to research. They don't understand what they're researching. They look for the number. Oh, it's got number streams on Spotify. They don't bother to look where those numbers come from. Oh, he's got such followers on so-and-so. They don't bother to look at the demographic. And if I can find it, then they could find it, because they have way more access to programs and software that the average consumer doesn't.
Well, they see it in
because
media
they're-
base or BDS. It's right there for them.
The
And
media
what
base
is-
and
what-
the media,
what's
will
media base
also-
and BD?
We can argue this one. Independent artists, your media
I'll
base
answer that.
numbers are midnight. You are the zombies' favorite. They play you when the nurses and the trash men are out, because that's all that your
Overnights.
record is warrant. Overnights.
It's called overnight.
Because you've never bothered to work the record. You've never bothered to get it into other places to where it'll make a transition from overnights into the morning time.
Can we break that down and unpack that?
Radio spins come in different segments. So you have
Different
the
day
midnight
parts.
hour, the different day parts. You have the early morning, which is 5 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Like the morning show.
The morning show, right? And some of those, a lot of the reason that you have morning shows from New York or the Steve Harvey, which is in Atlanta or whatever in your cities, is because a good portion of these radio stations don't have anybody in the building. It's a fucking room. So what they do is they get this morning show. Instead of having to pay somebody to come in and do a morning show, they license the Steve Harvey morning show, whatever it is. Then they come in and they do the afternoon. 9 times out of 10 at afternoon at 12 o'clock, a DJ is going to come in and do the mix.
Correct.
Other than that, they're playing commercial heavy radio because they understand that Burlington and Lenox Mall and Ben & Jerry's is playing their music there. That's why a lot of these companies have gone on to Pandora and create corporate stations so they can give their listeners a more catered experience. But that's besides the point.
Correct.
Then after afternoon, there's the
Night show.
the 2 p.m. show, because 10 a.m. to 2, 10 a.m. to 12.
That's midday, and then
Midday, then
2 to 6
afternoon.
is afternoon, then night show.
Then the night show, then the evening show, then your AM overnight show.
Overnight show.
Right? Most of these independent artists that are getting mix show, and I'm not even gonna spill the beans on that one, but most of these independent artists that get paid mix show, and the same radio report, these same PDs that we're talking about are lazy, because they're not looking at the road, they're looking at the end number to justify them playing that record. Because if they were to use the actual mathematics of it, there are records that are playing on their station that aren't worthy, that we know why they got there. And there are records that aren't on the station that are worthy, that we know why they're not getting there.
Right.
So the average person can look at something like that. So again, I'm not talking, I'm more in the sense of pulling the curtain back on this one and saying, okay, this is my version of taking it to TikTok and complaining about it. Because most of the people that are gatekeepers on the radio level are completely outdated and disconnected from how to do the research, because they don't know how to use the platform. They don't know how to use Spotify. They don't know how to use YouTube. They don't know how to use Instagram. How many of these PDs have actually gone through and looked at their radio station's Instagram? Not theirs, but the radio station that they
The actual
run.
station, right.
How many of them have
'Cause they
visited their
don't run
own
it.
websites and gone on there and tried to navigate it as a consumer? 9 out of 10 will tell you they haven't. They've trusted another person to do it. And that person has trusted another person who's trusted an intern. And the intern doesn't know because they just got access to Wi-Fi. These are people that have been dreaming of getting here all along. They're coming to work for free, man. They're going to college. They don't have no money. They're going to ramen noodle soup it. So they're going to try to figure out anything they can. So yes, I went to the website and it worked fine. No, it didn't. It worked atrociously. Most of these people don't know how to do the research, bro. Because if they knew how to do the research, I think, like we talked about with the Shazam numbers. Shazam, you go to Shazam right now, those numbers are very different. Pull it up. You're a radio guy. Pull up the Shazam numbers and tell me how accurate it is, bro, for the hottest records in Atlanta, Mr. I'm on the radio. It's not a reflection of it.
Right.
It's a almost polar opposite.
Right.
because it's not about what we believe to be true, it's about what they post to be true. And the sooner we understand that, and the sooner we understand the system, then we understand how we could insert ourselves into that, because it's because of information that we don't have and that we don't want.
It's also a business, and money makes the business world go round.
Oh my God. Say it again, boss.
It's a business. Business is money, and money makes the world go round. So I want to add to something that you had said just a couple minutes ago. When you're tracking radio, you use media base and you use BDS. Media base is actually the bigger of the two. But if you're taking a song to radio, you have to make sure that you register your song with BDS and media base so that it's getting tracked properly. It's like a fingerprinting system. It measures like 30 seconds of the song. When that song plays, it picks up the fingerprint and it tells you that your song played on Tuesday at 2:00 or Friday at 10 p.m.
It's your social security number, boss.
Facts.
And even after
Yes.
you're born, you have to apply for a social security number.
Yes.
You have to
Yes.
use the birth certificate and all that
Yes.
stuff so that you can start. It's the same thing with your music. The
Yes.
minute it's born, you have to submit it for a social security
Yes.
number.
Yep.
Exactly. And it's really important to do that. And you can Google to find out how to do that.
Okay.
Or watch the Cap Report. I think we talked about it on one of the Cap Reports.
Oh, you
We
did?
actually
Awesome.
Yes, you did. You
we
did.
gave
You
them
did.
a
You did.
step-by-step breakdown.
You did.
All steps on how to take
You
their
so
record,
rock.
everything they needed, and how to
You
explain
so
it to them, how to
rock.
get their song on the radio for free. And then we went as far as tagging every program director in Atlanta. Because that's
So
the
we
facts.
definitely need to get Wendy Doll connected. Anyway,
do. We
Is
do
it
have to connect
ever a
Wendy Doll.
wrong time to put out a great record? Example: timing, summer, winter, fall,
Yep.
first
Nothing
quarter,
after
second
October.
quarter.
Nothing after October.
Nothing after October.
Nothing after October. Nothing before February.
Nothing
Right,
after October. Nothing before February.
The fiscal
And I
year
know
doesn't
why.
open
Can you
up
tell
yet.
them why?
Top of the year. December is the notorious. I've been
Labels-
saving my vacation time, and I'm out
labels
here.
are closed.
Everything is closed in December.
Yep.
Radio station is only playing top charting records.
Correct.
Commercial
Christmas
friendly
music.
music.
Christmas music.
Pre-programmed top records of the year. Mixers are gone.
Budgets
That's when
are
they're all
closed.
swapping. Budgets are closed. So anything from October to January is like iffy, unless it's already in motion. If you're at week like 9 or 10 come October, then you're gonna ride that joker into the sunset.
Yes.
Right.
Nobody's
Yes.
gonna stand in front of you. So timing it, getting that release right so that you can sweet spot it and go into the end of the year is gonna be that, a key for some of these guys. And then the reason I say the top of the year is nothing's gonna move to after MLK Day. People are still on break, top of the year. People are still coming back from New Year's break. Then after New Year's, we have those maybe 8 or 9 days to MLK Day, which is usually going to include 2 Saturdays and 2 Sundays. So that's only going to leave you like 8 days to really do some work. So I say nothing before January, nothing before February, nothing after October.
Wendy, same thing.
I'm a rule breaker, so I drop it all different times. I agree with November and December. We don't really do much after Thanksgiving. But I also reverse engineer the music that I put out. I figure out when I want it popping, and then I count back from that, because I know, for example, it takes 12 to 16 weeks to get a record really started at radio. So I know that if I take it there on October 1st, it's not a hit record. If it is a hit record, it's not reacting for 12 to 16 weeks. So it's not really
January.
reacting until February, right?
February.
Exactly, January, February, exactly.
Okay. And my last question of this episode is: R&B artists, hip hop artists, pop artists. Is it more difficult to deal with an R&B artist versus a rap artist versus a pop artist?
What do you
Does
mean
it
by
matter?
difficult?
R&B songs take longer to record,
And
in
they're more
theory.
expensive
and they're
to
more
work.
expensive
That's
to
what I was
work
gonna
Because you have to,
because they're very slow.
yes.
Unless
and
it's
the
a
artist
hip-hop.
has to perform like R&B, so now you need outfits, you need hair and makeup, even if it's a guy. They have to be different
Presentation.
for every show. So yeah, it's a little more costly. Is that what you're
I
asking?
definitely
Yes.
Okay.
I definitely agree. That's the thing with female rappers. The upkeep on them is that
Yeah.
a guy can leave the house and he can throw a hoodie on and he's a street dude. What do you expect? But a female rapper, she's supposed to look.
She can't throw
She
on a
can't- yeah,
hoodie.
she can't
like
throw
her,
on a wig
her
and walk out
hair
the
and her
house.
nails have to be
You know
done.
what I mean? Yeah, she's got to look the part.
Yeah.
So
What
I
if she
think
has
the
a
upkeep
color
on
that
it-
she wants to have that day? Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. To each his own.
Okay.
I don't think genre makes anything that much more difficult, but I do think that with genre, there comes a certain requirement that you have to have. And if you're not going to invest, like Wendy said, in the presentation of an R&B artist, then you're going to have a harder time reaching the masses, because in this business, the eyes sell more than the ears ever could. Cheat code.
And I think also pop is a little more expensive. I'm sorry, I wasn't quite done yet.
Keep going.
Cheat code. Put that on a t-shirt, man. Cheat code. So, can we do the hands on the cheat shirt? What you were saying, Buck? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I got the sign to cut off.
I was saying that pop can be a little more costly, and it's a little harder because when you look at the outlets for pop, you need like People Magazine, like if you're looking at publicity, if you're looking at
malls,
influencers, you're looking at things that are more costly to buy. In order
I think Justin Bieber did like a mall tour before he did a real tour.
Yes.
That was his promo run. He was performing in malls.
Britney Spears, definitely.
I remember that.
Mall
but you
tours
can do
are
that
great.
with that type of content.
Correct.
So you have to have that type of content. Not saying that you can't do it with a rapper, but you're going to have a hard time.
It's different.
Yeah.
And your market's not really hanging out at the mall if you're a rapper.
Right. Unless you're a little
it's
dicky.
a little different.
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
Lennox Mall.
Exactly.
Lennox
Atlanta.
Mall.
And Lennox.
Yeah, you have a
Atlanta.
bulletproof vest to go to Lennox Mall. I don't want to hang out at Lennox Mall. Lennox Mall is like
Woodland
target
Hills.
practice.
It's a little different.
Cumberland
so
Mall is
now
getting
should
lit
we
too.
say cheat code?
Cheat code.
Cheat code.